This is John Clayton, not John Cooks. This is a trying to see if I have a there we go. One person. Hello, one person. Ah, why did I kill off John Cooks? John Cooks was 4 years on Periscope, and it was pretty much just a. I'm still trying to get my bearing straight here. There we go. I think that's better. Seeing it, I'm out in the backyard. It's starry with a with little clouds in the sky, and I thought I'd come out here and talk to you guys and see exactly how many people come in. There is one person in here, so I'm just going to talk for a little while, and then I'll get the John Cooks. I got my hunting hat on, something I have never done, but there we go. I think that's a little bit better. So looking at Haps again, and they tell they there we go. There is a got a bit of a slow start here. Had a couple glasses of wine with my wife tonight, and it was nice. We watched a little TV. So I'm out in the backyard. You can see, I think you can see some of the solar lights here too, which is good. I want to know why par- um, I had too many wines, I guess. I want to know why the Haps has this ridiculous pro tip thing for me to spread the word. I don't know if you've ever broadcasted, but listen to this. This is what comes up when you start your broadcast. What is HAPS? HAPS offers free world-class broadcast tools. Community eager, collaborate, and a simple. I got a light in my eye. It's kind of hard to read this. And a simple way to view, support creators financially. Then how do I explain HAPS to my audience? This is something that I look at, and it takes up a ridiculous amount of text. And there's like 4 paragraphs, and it says that this is what you should say and all that stuff. I'm not saying that. I like HAPS, and I've been playing with this for a while and did a few cooking shows, but let's just get into this. So, oh, that's better. I think that's a little bit better. So you see my yard lights in the back. I'll there we go. You can see the yard lights. There we go. That allows me to walk around the yard at nighttime, stare at stars, and clouds with stars, and things like that. but there's four, maybe five paragraphs on this, and it's very annoying, Haps. Can you have an option to um, get this off of there? Two people are in here, so why did I kill off John Cooks? John Cooks broadcasted on Periscope for nearly 5 years, and I think uh, I was an entertainer. I think I try, I tried to be, and the cook shows. I did hundreds and hundreds of cook shows. Uh, most of them very successful, and I tried to be entertaining, things like that. And it was a good place. Had thousands of followers, sometimes 1,500, even 2,000. Forgive me, I'm just adjusting the screen here. Sometimes 2,000, and on to Thanksgiving, I had 27,000 viewers, live viewers, which was really phenomenal. I was featured, which was really cool. So, John Cooks uh, is it's John. John Clayton is my name, and there's a dog barking over there. Probably hear it. It's about three houses away, but it's a really loud dog. Uh, I tried to entertain. I think I did, and 3,000 or more of the. Oh, I see a mistake. I see a mistake. There we go. Two people. See, Periscope was home for me and a lot of people. And although they had bots that would come in there and bother you and seem like hookers and things like that were in there. Um, but it was home for 4 years, almost 5 years. And now, it's gone. Shamefully, it's gone. Uh, although and that's the app, the phone app just doesn't work anymore for, I guess, a month, maybe 2 months now. So I don't want to say anything about Periscope that was bad. They had they had the bot problems. They had people that would come in and hackle you and things like that. But it was home. It was really a good place to broadcast. And there's nothing like when you're doing a cook show and you can you know get responses and ask questions, things like that. Uh, as John Cooks, I never told anything that was. There we go, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Um, Thank you for coming in, explaining why I killed off the character of John Cooks. Now, mind you, John Cooks is everything I said was true. I mean, I launched jets for a living for the Navy, up to I had 32 years of that. So I didn't give you any BS. And so is John Cooks John Clayton here? Pretty much, pretty much. Um, I really did my best, I guess, to forgive me. I'm moving stuff here. I'm still getting a lot of light in my eye here. Uh, the what I have is oh my god, that's really right. Is a it goes to a telescope, and it allows you to. It has red lights. See if I can put the red light on for a second. Say, forgive me. Nope, I turned it off. Uh, there we go. It's horrible, but this is what you use for a telescope. Uh, your eyes are okay. Your eyes are not sensitive to red, and you can, you don't get blinded by the stars and things like that. So 5 people. Hello, guys. Just finished a glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine actually. So I'm not totally here with you, but I wanted to come out and I wanted to say a few things. So I, especially with Haps, um, the number of followers I've been able to get here is crap. Now I did some pretty good cook shows, maybe 2 dozen, something like that, on here, and it was entertaining. But the and the quality of the videos is phenomenal. I mean, it's really really good. So Haps is nice. Haps is going to be the winner of the social media streaming live stuff. I really believe that. But I just I didn't feel it. I come in here and I get 30, maybe 50 people come into the show. Mainly because Periscope, I say I would get hundreds of people watching the show. Did Here we go. We still broadcast cooking? No, cooking is over. Um, I think the main reason that the cooking is with Periscope you could zoom in with the front camera, with what I'm using now, and the best part about that is that you zoom in, you don't have to move the camera, the phone. So all you got to do just zoom in and leave it broadcast and stuff like that. All your cooking shows, like all your broadcasts. Thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah, I guess the big thing is that uh, I asked 3 months ago now, I guess something like that, here on Haps if they could do a zoom on the front camera, and then Pablo, forgive me, he said that why do you want to do that? What do you want to why do you need a front zoom? And I said cooking shows is something that you don't want to keep on moving tripods. You don't want to touch stuff. You got food on your hand. You got chicken, pork, anything like that. And it was, it's not viable to um, constantly move a tripod or a mount or something like that to get close-ups, and I don't, and and that really bothered me, that it hasn't been addressed. Of course, your rear camera. I finally figured out the rear camera so that it could zoom in and out. And I used it today. Matter of fact, I was doing some stuff with my bird feeders and things like that. So was John Cook's a character with not overly. I I liked entertaining. I think I did a pretty good job. I had 3,500 followers and some really uh, excellent meals that Tracy, my wife Tracy, she was she worked until 5 o'clock, and I had shift work. Very good job, thank you. Yeah, I gotta let the wine, gotta let the wine get out of me here. I'm sorry, but uh, you know, she was in a lot of the broadcasts, and people like Tracy more than me, which is I'm tickled with that, honestly. Um, yeah, I really don't drink. I have a beer. If I buy a 6 pack, it lasts 2 weeks, something like that. Uh, Rarely drink wine. There's it's a red wine. I like red wines, and this particular one was really good. So we watched a couple of movies tonight and drank the wine. I actually drank it 20 minutes ago. It's something like that. So I like to sit out back. It's beautiful. It's 68 degrees right now. No bugs. Even the lights aren't even. The light here isn't is attracting any bugs, which is great. This is a good time of year. I'm in central New Jersey. Uh, hey, it's a dude with the garden lights. Yes, it is. Oh, beam me up, Mr. Scott. Good to see you. Tilda the hat. Thank you for coming back in. Yeah, you can see them back there. Uh, I think the best ones are the ones that's over by the hummingbird feeder, and but they go all the way around the yard. I counted them tonight. I moved a few around and stuff like that. I'm having a beer tonight. Uh, it's one of those things. I like beer. I like lagers. Porters are some of my best. There's a Elliott Nest by Great Lakes Brewery, and that's by far my favorite beer. Very hard to get. There's a town probably about 15 miles away. Is the only place that takes that in. Has it in stock. Nobody else does. So Elliott Nest is super good. If you ever see that, Elliott Nest by Great Lake Breweries an awesome porter. And let's see, sun is just going down for us. It's a scorcher today, almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Denver. Wow, wow. I used to follow. It was kind of a love hate relationship with Snoop Globby Glob, who I assume because he's not here anymore was banned, and he was anywhere from he was in Denver a long time. I forget the last place that he was here, but he's big pot seller. Acid. He goes to concerts and stuff like that. And let's see, my favorite beer, if I can find it, is Batch 19. I'm gonna have to remember that. Oh, Coors makes it. Believe it or not, had Coors, didn't like it. But that's a different beer, so I'll write that down and see how that is. See if we can find it here. I tried. I've had Fat Tire. I drink a lot of when I drink beer. I drink a lot of Yingling, Yingling Black and Tan. They also have a Yingling Porter, which is pretty good. I like that. But it's again, a 6 pack lasts a week, and that's I'll have a beer a night, maybe something like that. Uh, it's one of those love hate relationship things. I guess probably the best way to put it because you know I don't like IPAs. They're now and a lot of the let's see, I'm not a fan of regular Coors. Yeah, as I'm not, and that's why I say I think to try something Coors makes that's a little bit darker. I don't know if that's a dark beer or not, but I do like dark beers, and uh, that's the whole thing with lagers and stouts. I'm not a big stout drinker. It's too heavy. If we go out to dinner, God forbid, we did go out to dinner on my wife's birthday, the first time in a year or more. Uh, and we got our shots, of course, and things like that. And it was a BYOB kind of place. It was a sushi restaurant that and hibachi and all that kind of stuff. It's a nice place, very nice place. So going there, and New Jersey finally dropped the mask rules and stuff like that. So you can just go in anywhere except for physical therapy, which I have to start next week. My the doctor, the orthopedist, doesn't think I just got a flash up on the screen there. Let's not eat more hoppy. Exactly, exactly. And I like if the beer has got a a chocolatey note. That's that I like. That I really like. So I mean, I do like the dark beers. Um, I guess it was about 8 years ago or so, maybe a little longer. My wife and I we went up to Watkins Glen, New York, and it's a very depressed area. It doesn't have uh, income. I mean, it's a very depressed. New York State is very very poor. Hops says an IPA. Whoops, froze a second. Yeah, I know I did. I'm right near my router. I'm 30 feet from my Wi-Fi extender, and sometimes it just does that. I don't know why. I was watching Karen Waterson, who I enjoy Karen. She's being hackled by bots. I believe it. I believe it's on Facebook, and I honestly wonder if it is bots. Sometimes it's just somebody gets a bug up their tail, and they uh, they do that just because they get giggles out of it. And she's a nice lady. I think it was the first time I saw her actually driving a car, and she doesn't look like a multitasker. I like Karen, but she's uh, luckily not paying attention to the text. She's just sort of monologuing like this, and yeah, trolls. She is being trolled, no doubt about it, Sarah. Um, so she was in church today, and just couldn't get rid of him. She didn't have a moderator there. Earlene, I think, is her moderator. So I don't know if she deleted the broadcast or not. But she's Karen's nice. Karen, um I I love looking for things that people do that how do I say this, that I guess it's their trademark kind of. You know, Karen always says that. Okay, I had to get off of Facebook. There are bots. Yeah, I don't know what I do. I multitask, multi broadcast here just to do this. But like I say, I killed off John Cooks because I'm not going to cook anymore. I want to chat. I want to set the camera up and do more yard work. That's the thing I'm doing now. So I've been retired 6 months. I recommend if you got hobbies, if you don't have hobbies, find hobbies, and life is pretty good. Um, I've been doing all kind of backyard stuff. You guys have seen it if you've watched these broadcasts. And I got Stinky the skunk. I'm going to lose the light for a second here. I didn't bring my real flashlight out here. Let me do that. Just circle the. Oops, sorry about that. Circle the lamps out there. There are 46, by the way. I counted them tonight, and they're solar lamps, $1 a piece at the dollar store at Dollar General. There we go, back again. And I bought three just to see how they worked. And it's got a little pull tab. You take and pull this piece of paper, and that activates the solar cell on the very top, and then it's got these about this big of light, and it's not so bright that your yard is a landing strip for an airplane or anything like that. Took your advice on how to trim butterfly bushes. You know, I'm mixed on that, and I think I finally figured out what happened. Now my big butterfly bushes are 2 to 3 years old, and I did nothing to them. I wanted to see exactly. I mean, they're huge. They're really really big, and I uh, I want to I wanted to see how they worked out to the ones younger ones that I snipped them all the way down and took the just like on the bottom of asparagus. You get that real barky stuff. I cut that off to give it a good fresh, uh, growth thing, and they're just not doing that good. They should be, I think, about 2 feet, 2.5 feet tall now, and they're 1 foot tall. So I think what I did, and I think my soil here is only about 8 inches thick. Then it goes to gravel, and I just dug enough space to plant it, and hopefully it would spread out. And I did till the soil a little bit, but what I should have done, I should have put some really good potting soil in there and some fertilizer, let that sit a while, mix it up, put the butterfly bushes in. I think it really would have been uh, a more success. They're growing very slow, uh, probably about a foot tall, but they're only a year old too. I planted them. I planted them this year, and I think I want to say a year old, but I honestly believe that the fellow that I got them from, a friend of mine, and he takes it to get to the stage that they're maybe 3 foot tall, but just one stalk comes up, something like that. I think they're probably 2 years old at that point, and so 3 years before they go in the ground. The other ones, the really big ones, the those ones there, they they're probably I've had them 2 to 3 years now, probably 2 years. Didn't do anything to them, and they're massive in size. There's two of them that are 5 feet tall and branched out about at least three, maybe four. Here goes my air conditioner on. Oh, I'm sitting at the picnic table, which is kind of preferable. I like the lighting. The lighting's pretty decent, and mine are about 3 feet. Yeah, I honestly think that over the years they're going to just totally fill in because I've got what do I how many I have 18 of them around the perimeter of the backyard. You've seen them, and the let's see, butterfly bushes. Yeah, it weirds me out that they want you to cut them all the way down to about 6 inches or so, uh, which they're young and I don't want to cut my big ones because they look really good. Now I don't know when they're going to start to flower and all that kind of stuff. But I also have zinnias in the backyard. What else do I have? There's other plants out there that are flowering and the butterflies are coming, which is good. Now once the flowers start to go on the butterfly bushes, then I'm pretty sure I'm going to see a boatload of butterflies out there. And of course, they're pollinators, cross pollinators, but they're not like honeybees. Honeybees just pollinate one crop and take the nectar or the pollen back to the hive, and then they might go out to another plant, but they don't cross pollinate. That's not their job in nature. So 14 of you are in or out or something like that. I like it out here. It's 68 degrees, by the way. The There's a few stars, mostly cloudy. You have cloudy, so you see clouds. Then you have overcast, you don't see clouds. You just there's nothing up there. So it's cloudy. I would say mostly cloudy. Um, but I come out here. I get a little claustrophobic in the house, and at nighttime, I'm a nighttime guy. I'm moving my shirt around here. Forgive me. 72 degrees here in lower Michigan. That's a nice temperature. I put a shirt on. I'm always in a t-shirt. You've seen that before. That was a John Cook's thing. So I'll go back to that for a second. So for 4 years on all social media, I changed from John Clayton, that's me, to John Cooks because John cooked. That's what I did. And uh, I don't like to set up here again. I don't like to set up on haps. I don't want to have this my tripod here, which is small, yeah, but it works really good. Oh my God, 110 in Marana, Arizona. I think that's right. Uh, that's crazy to me. That's that old. Oh, but it's dry heat. No, it's 110. It's 110 degrees. I know what humidity does. We get a lot of humidity here. Again, I'm right on the coast, pretty much Jersey Shore, and that's one thing too. I never go to the ocean. It's 10 miles away. I don't like it. It's one of those things. Some places or some people. Super, you give me here too. And uh, tonight's a good night. My picnic table is dry as could be, which is cool because a lot of nights, it's hot in the daytime, and at nighttime it sweats, and the humidity is in the air. Sometimes you'll actually see, the little what do you even call them? Just little uh, sparkles of humidity in there. Yeah, I'm John Cooks. Uh, I was John Cooks. I killed him off uh, only because I don't want to cook anymore on the show. I did over 350 cook shows on Periscope, and a lot of repeats because you like certain meals. My favorite by far is pork chops with gnocchi. Gnocchi, I like gnocchi, and I live near a military base, so I mean, you'll hear airplanes here sometimes, helicopters as well. No more cooking shows. No, I'm not going to do any more cooking shows. I really do want to do talk shows. Uh, Topic wise, I mean, I want to keep it light. Uh, the John Cooks that you saw is me. Uh, I never exaggerated. I tried really hard to entertain, and I think I did a pretty good job. The number of followers and number of people who came into the show each and every time, and I was doing 4, 5 shows a week, so I mean it was a lot of shows, and people don't realize with cook shows, you got to prep, you got to cook, and you got to clean up, and I was doing 2 and 3 hour shows because I would do that. Uh, Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I don't look. I don't think I look any different. I'm I'm broadening out my mustache, which I kind of I do like. I do that. I got a hunter's cap on, just in case anything was flying out here. But there's no bugs. No bugs tonight. And I mean, here it is. It's June now. I say that and there's a little gnat. It's got like that right there. Just one. No, that's not too bad. I really enjoyed it. I honestly did. Periscope was home. Periscope was nice. There's a lot of good things that I like here with Haps. One, that the image quality is superior to what Periscope had. There's no doubt about it. This is high def. I don't know how it's looking right now, but I mean, um, it was. I loved Periscope. Yeah, I did too. When Periscope disappeared, it was winding down. I winded down, and matter of fact, for quite a while, I don't think I did any shows, and that wasn't my style. I mean, I dug it. I mounted cameras on the wall, on the windows, stuff like that, and it had the zoom feature. You just spread your fingers apart. So the camera was about 6 feet or so away from the cook stove, and if I wanted to, I just spread the fingers and I zoom right into the frying pan or whatever I'm doing, prep or whatever it might be, and you saw that. So, and they don't have a front camera zoom option here. Told Pablo that you know that it would be really handy because I wanted to do cook shows here on Haps, but it hasn't happened. It probably won't happen. Um, I Now I'm going to be doing shows in the house in the living room, something I've never done before. It was always a kitchen thing or a barbecue thing, but I'll you know now I'm going to set it up in the living room again, probably tripod, something like that, and do talk shows. I like talk shows, whether I have people in that. And thank you for coming in and talking because it I can go for hours talking and things like that, but it doesn't. Let's see, Ryan Sword just subscribed. Thank you so much. And Sarah said chat shows good too. Yeah, I used to follow a guy, Dan Simpson. I don't know if you've seen him. He's kind of philosopher, kind of a guy. He enjoys bringing up topics that uh, metaphysical topics, things like that. And I liked his show. I wanted to do stuff like that. He he was just uh, what's the word? Trying to think of the word here. He was knowledged in a lot of things. He had a lot of very good opinions, and I want to do that kind of show now. I don't know if I can. I can talk, but I don't want to get into to things like politics or anything like that. Um, you know, I would easily get in UFOs, things like that. I like those kind of topics. Anything conspiratorial, I like those kind of shows, and I enjoy that, and I have a lot of interest. And things, it's going to be a different show. And what I'm doing is I've got about, I think it's down to $7. I donated $5 to someone tonight. Uh, yeah, it did. I had a lot of people. My problem is I can't cook and read the text at the same time. So a lot of people would come in and they'd get fed up because I'm missing stuff. They're asking me 2 or 3 times, and I'm not doing it. But you're stirring pots and doing walks and stuff like that. I think probably my favorite shows were always walks. I like to do different walk shows. Great stories. It's spooky. You hear what is going on. It's spooky. I'm outside. Uh, I keep on locking my tripod here. I'm outside. My yard is lit up with lawn lights, and they look pretty good tonight, which is cool. They go all the way around the back. I've got them behind me there, and it and I've got it in such a pattern. I'm not going to do it tonight. It's tough because all you see is dots when I walk around. But there's a couple of shows, many shows I guess here on Habs now. What did you cook tonight? Tonight was a real simple dinner. Really simple dinner. My wife bought maybe a week ago or so. She went to White Castle. It's a guilty pleasure thing. I really don't like them, but I eat them. It's that's White Castle's drunk food. You go to the bar, you get totally faced, and then you go to White Castle, eat the burgers, and throw them up. I mean, that's kind of what White Castle always seemed to be to me. But anyway, I took them out of the freezer. We froze them. So you bought a 30 case, and I think we had 10 uh, for dinner one night. And I took gallon freezer bags, put them in the freezer, the Trump freezer. Thank you, Mr. President. And broke out a bag tonight. There was 10 in each of the two bags. Still a couple in the fridge. We didn't eat them all, but had that. And then I had one of the things. There's two vegetables that I just I can't get away with. Let me just see. Try the frozen White Castle burgers. Pretty damn good, surprisingly. Um, the thing we don't like is I like pickle. I don't like cheese. I don't like cheese on the burgers. I think it's a horrible cheese they put on there. But the originals, it's got and we get extra sautéed onions. So onions, ketchup, and that's pretty much it. Onions and ketchup we get on them, and so I just microwaved them up. Two White Castles. I keep on covering my face. Sorry about that. But two White Castles, and put them in a microwave on high for spread them out. Leave them in a box. 1 minute 25 seconds, and they're fully cooked. Give it a minute to cool down, and slam them babies down. You can buy them from the White Castle from the grocery store. Oh yeah, they're not cheap. We've bought them. We've had them in the freezer and things like that. And it's you know they have the plain or they have the cheese ones. That's what I've found so far. You go to White Castle. I mean, you can have jalapenos on there. They have chicken sliders, stuff like that, which I haven't tried yet. But it's good little snack. So you can get the frozen. Yeah, the I remember. God, this is 30 years ago now. It's got to be 30 years ago. Um, my mom, dad, and one of my aunts, they drove about 40 miles to get White Castles. Blew me away. I would never do that. I don't go 40 miles to do anything. I usually add a pickle and ketchup, and that's the thing. That was the other. I think I left the pickle off. Yeah, we have pickle and ketchup and extra sautéed onions. That's how we always get them, and I think it's a delicious, you know, combination compared to some of the other ones that they have. And so I got Tracy got them. We froze them, and like I say, you put two in the microwave, little ways, leave them in the box. Minute and 25 seconds. Minute or two later, you can eat them, and they're just the right temperature, fully cooked through. But that was tonight's dinner, and then I had 2 ears of corn. Ah, that was maybe a couple hours later. But our Asian grocery, which is really it's a little store, but they have nice stuff in there. They had 7 ears of corn. It was already peeled, uh, and it was wrapped up in what they wrap stuff in, vegetables in. Like they pre-cut onions and peppers, and it comes in a tray with plastic on top of it. But their fruit and their vegetables are really nice there. So and they have fresh ciabatta bread every morning about 9:30. Guy drives about 40 miles and gets huge loaves of ciabatta bread and rolls and stuff like that. So I had to go to orthopedist the other day, and I usually add pickle and ketchup, and then we get a yum out of Sarah. Thank you. Oh, Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. I'm sorry. I'm not paying attention to names here. Um, but the so I got I got to the chiropractor, not the chiropractor, the orthopedist. I He thinks my right arm is not torn. My rotator cuff. I tore my rotator cuff 5 years ago. I never had surgery. I have good days and bad days. I can't lift anything over my head very well. That's near impossible. And I did that sleeping in my left arm, sleeping. I get tangled up in the blankets, and I turned, and I get this terrible burn right on my shoulder blade, and it just got worse. It got to the point where I couldn't sleep, and I went there. They did X-rays, and then just the doctor pretty well knew that it was tore. Went and had an MRI done, and never did anything. I went through some therapy with it. It helped. It's never fully recovered, and it won't. It's the muscle is the supraspinatus, and it's the main stabilizer muscle that allows you to get your arm over your head and lift anything or reach and grab anything over your head. Now, about 2, maybe 3 months ago, before I got COVID shots, I decided that. I decided. Let me start that over. Um, I reached behind my back. My shoulder blade was itchy. I reached my right arm behind my back, and it hurt. It didn't burn. It did. The left was about a 5-inch burn for about 5 minutes. I knew it did something, and it's time to put me out to pasture. 62, retired now. I love it. Um, Only thing I don't love about the retirement is my wife still works. She is about 4 years younger than me, and she loves her job. Nothing wrong with that. I loved my job too. I worked 32 years for the Air Force and the Navy. All that was true. All the John Cook stuff was true. I never told you guys a fib, a lie, or an exaggeration or anything like that. So the only difference I think here is I'm going talk format. I'm not going to cook. Uh, I can't say not. Maybe someday I'll just throw a breakfast sandwich together or something like that. But under John Clayton. But for 4 years or more on Facebook, John Cooks. Now, friends and family, stuff like that, couldn't find me. It's I don't really have a lot of family. That's an important thing to bring up. I got a couple of cousins that I sort of keep in contact with, and strictly through Facebook. I haven't seen him in, oh my God, I don't know how many years. But the probably my one cousin that I communicate with, a little bit there. It's been I want to say 35, 40 years since I've seen her, and she's in a town right where I'm at, really close. She's a couple miles away right now. Uh, I had a rough time with family. Uh, Long story. The family. I had a very handicapped brother, and all the aunts and uncles, and on my mother's side that was 12 aunts and uncles. On my dad's side was 12 aunts and uncles. So I had 24 aunts and uncles, and plus my both my parents were the 13th child. Legend has it I'm the Jersey Devil, I believe. But I've been mellow. I enjoy the format where I can just sit back and talk and communicate with you guys. She's not dumb. She don't want to hang with you at home. What I miss, what I miss, what I miss. She's not dumb. Oh, talking about my wife. I sometimes think that. I honestly think she's probably going to work 3 more years. So, I stay up late. Always been a late night person. Shift work, it messes you up. And before, I worked steady midnights for 7 years at one job. Then I went to work for the military. And for 32 years, I worked rotating shift work and an oddball rotating shift work. And since it's a talk show, I'll just give a rundown of. Imagine doing this, okay? Uh, you have a 4 day weekend, which is nice, and you go back on 4 to 12s on a Tuesday. You do 5 4 to 12 starting on a Tuesday. Last one is Saturday. You have Sunday off. You do three days. That's maintenance. Rotating shift would be rough. It seems. It beats you up. It does. Um, so you have 5 4 to 12s, 1 day off, 3 daytimes, 1 day off. Then you go into what's called splits, and that's 2 midnights and 2 4 to 12s. So it's Friday and Saturday midnight. So you could actually go in Thursday because you go in we went in at 10 o'clock. But you have 2 midnights and 2 4 to 12s to keep it short, back to back, called splits. Then finally you have 2 days off, and you work 8 days in a row. Uh, no overtime. The way that the shift is, there's just no overtime. You work 5 days in a given 7 day week. So even though it's all over the clock like that, you get shift differential, which was nice. I mean, that adds up big time. That's probably $3 to $4 an hour extra shift differential. It's on the midnight and 4 to 12, something like that. So, so then after you finish your days, you have 2 days off. You do 7 midnights, and then you go back to 4 days off again and start over. And did that 32 years. Um, I'd come home in the morning and I'd want pork chops. It's, it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I want pork chops. Why did you do that type of schedule? We had 12 men. Never had a woman in the workplace. Would have loved to because there's very skilled. I was a boiler plant operator. Steam engineer is my license. Um, I launched jets for the Navy. I worked for the Air Force, but the job itself was I made high pressure steam that just like you see on Top Gun or any of the aircraft carriers. Our facility was is a aircraft carrier support facility. We we made and launched jets off of two total mock-up aircraft carrier platforms, land-based. So I made the high pressure steam that would take and launch the jet from 0 to 200 miles an hour in 2 seconds. And excellent job. I'm 200 feet, maybe 250. Um, it was really, really a cool job. An excellent career. Excellent career. So, I mean, I got F 18s, F 35s 200 feet away from me. Uh, what they do is, I mean, they literally have to rev up their engines to full blast. To full blast. They're held back by what's called a breakaway bar. So just imagine you got the straight, kind of like a railroad track, just one, um, and there's this thing called a shuttle that goes around that, and when the steam is released, the the shuttle pulls the jet off the end of the carrier deck in our case land based, but all the mechanics, everything inside are two, and there was two. Um, there are two. I keep on saying was. Forgive me, but there was. There, there we go. There are two total mock-up. Everything underground is what was in the ships. There's two types of aircraft carriers. Three now because they have an electromagnetic launch system, EMALS, electro assisted magnetic launch system. It's all done, almost like an amusement park. Uh, Good example, King Dukas. Uh, it's a great adventure in Jackson, New Jersey, not too far from here, and it takes you up to about 110 miles an hour in just a couple seconds, and the track shoots straight up to 502 feet, and then it dives straight down again. So it's literally you go. This light's going to be playing havoc, but you shoot up and go straight up 500 feet plus, and then straight down, and you loop back around a little thing, and the next next people get aboard it. But but that's electromagnetic assist launch, and some of that is hydraulic, I believe, too. But we were strictly steam, so we made steam and put them in huge bottles at 500-pound steam pressure, huge bottles. And this is all on the Navy website. I'm not telling secrets. And that steam that was in the bottles is what is opened up into these gigantic valves, these huge valves that take and pull that jet. And those jets are not light, up to 200 miles an hour in 2 seconds. And you would rumble where my control room was, and I was a lead operator. I had had a crew under me all the time, and it's getting it just got a little chilly out here. The wind just blew by, um, and you're there a couple hundred feet from a jet that is totally maxed out with their engine, and this 50,000-pound thrust breakaway bar finally gives. And it's so cool. I mean, you see the pilot, you know, wave to the there's a bubble on top of the deck, so they can make sure everything's clear and ready to go. He salutes the guy in the deck, salutes the guy in the bubble, and off he goes. 2 seconds later, 5 seconds later, let's put it that way, he's gone. He's out of sight. So did that 32 years. How many weeks or how many were launched per typical week? Um, we would do. There was three. Say if we're talking jets, um, we would launch probably uh, rough number 20 launches a day, 15 to 20 launches a day, Um, and it's according to the schedule. The thing is that what we did was what my base did was they would bring all the launch valves from the carriers out on the fleet all around the world. They would fly them to our facility. They would retrofit them every 10,000 launches, which sounds like a lot. It's not on the carrier. It's really relatively quick. 4 to 6 months. You got to send them out to be repaired, and it's almost solid steel. I mean, there's so much. There's this parts inside, of course, but really, really, one big chunk of metal, 10,000 pounds, probably crazy. They'd lower it on a low what do they call it? Low boy, low rider, a truck that would just bring it out to us for the testing. And a lot of times, I mean, the it failed. It just didn't meet the numbers. They charted and graphed it and computered, of course, everything that would test that, make sure that when it's got sent back out to an aircraft carrier, that it was ready to go for another 10,000 or so launches. So it was an amazing job, loved it. It was nice to be in a lead operator position, mainly because, let me play with this light a little bit. There we go. Mainly because, you're the licking in the chicken. It didn't happen without us. That jet's not going off that carrier deck without the steam pressure. So, hey, soda break. So we did that, and that place was, and the facility was there long before me. Imagine in the Cold War that they would, launch 100 launches a day. It was designed. They have there's a if again look at an aircraft carrier launch system. A jet would pull up, a wall would come behind it called a jet blast deflector. So when he throttled up his engine, it would shoot the all the heat and everything, the blast, up above another plane that pulled behind that wall. And that wall is filled with water. That's it, so it doesn't burn up because that's an incredible amount of thrust that they have, 50,000 pounds of thrust. So it was circulating water inside this wall called a jet blast deflector. And then that would lower the jet that was second in line would move up, and then the wall would come up again. And they had a time of 45 seconds to get a jet off of a carrier deck, 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. So you just wonder how long it took during the Cold War again. So we're talking, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s primarily. Started much sooner than that, but the I'm not sure when the facility, when our building went into operation. Never did find that out, but with quick turnarounds, very quick, very quick. By the time that the jet flew out, they pretty much just did one pass, and they would come down, land on the runway, and then they would taxi themselves back and just get in line again. And that was 24 hours a day operation. Night landings, night operations. Sadly, I'd be dead now probably, but sadly, I never got to see that kind of an operation. The Cold War was pretty much over when I started working there. But just the idea that the necessity of that, it's the only place in the world that does that. The French have the Raphael series of planes, and they came to our base, and they would do the same thing. Very very similar design as far as the catapult launch. So and they even had, which I was there, but I didn't see it. How did you get into that type of career? I'll give you that story in a second. I'll shorten it down, but you never know what you're going to be in life. Some people do, I guess, but not me, for sure, not me. Um, but where was I going with the carrier thing? But that was my job for 32 years. I started in a centralized steam heat plant on the same base, and we heated 38 buildings. Just that, and I mean that's not housing. There was actually probably well over 100 buildings that we heated with steam, 125-pound steam pressure, something on the order of 45 miles of steam line and much more lines of condensate return. Of course, steam lines are 16 inches round. Condensate returns are probably 8 inches, something like that. But I went all around the base, heated the officer housing, all the hangars. Hangar number one, it's a national historical monument or historical site. Is where the Hindenburg crashed, right in front of Hangar One. I was in Hangar One often, sometimes for years. I was there, every day. Incredible building. If you go to, it's John Clayton now. It's not John Cooks anymore. Again, there's no more John Cooks. I killed him off. But if you go to John Clayton, look him up. You'll see me, a picture of me on Facebook. I added a recent picture of the inside of hangar number one, where the Hindenburg was stowed, I believe, 6 times in 1936. It came to the U.S. In 1936, 10 times. It was stowed inside the hangar six. And they actually had to take the nose cone, as big as the hangar was, 900 feet long. It's 200 and, I don't know, 240 feet wide, almost 300 feet wide. Huge, huge hangar. Biggest building of its type at one in 1917 or so when they built that. So I mean, back then dirigible or blimp. Now blimp is B class limp. It's a balloon where the rigid aircraft are dirigibles. Somewhere in there is the word rigid, which is it's all pretty much lightweight aluminum. Today it would be titanium, um, but of course Hindenburg crashed right in Lakehurst, and it was today they have there's a memorial outline. I have a couple of videos. If you still have access to Periscope TV, you'll find me taking and doing a few shows out there. John Clayton again is on Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube, and there's some stuff there. Probably 12 years, 13 years old now, of stuff that I did there. But how did I get into boilers? I got a job with. I was probably 23, something like that. I got offered a job uh, in a artificial reef uh, program to stack used truck and car tires, split them in half, leave a little hinge about that big, but stand them up vertical, split them in half like a bagel, flay them out, and stack them, in a clover leaf pattern. Press them down, fill them up with concrete, tie rope around them. They were shipped out to the ocean and made into an artificial reef for fish and other marine life, and they work beautiful. But by 7 o'clock, you're doing it outside. By 7 o'clock in the morning, it's cold, it's winter, and uh, I wasn't digging that job at all. I fell one day. They usually take a forklift what's that other thing? Backhoe, and fluff up the tires, and then you get pull them out and do your thing. But it's dirty and muddy and cold and all that kind of stuff. And that was for our county government. Now, the thing about 35 of you, by the way, thank you for coming in. This is my first show as John Clayton. That is me. John Cooks was my pseudonym for 4 years or more on Periscope and started out here with that. Um, I'll just make a quick comment about uh, Haps here. There's things I love about it. The video quality is beautiful. Um, I haven't played around with the audio to make the audio high def or anything like that. And I know if I'm recording from the back camera, I got to get really close to the phone to get the audio level up there, which usually means at that point I can't see what I'm trying to film because it's too close. But but I like Haps. Uh, I can't cook here. The cooking is over. Uh, but a lot of shows still on Periscope. It's still out there. You can't. The app doesn't work anymore. But all the shows were also broadcasted on Twitter. And so again, John Cook's name does not exist anymore. And I killed him off because I just lost the interest, uh, mainly because of a few things of Haps. A lot of work, a show I could do a 3 hour show easy. And just got to the point where, let's see, morphing a show is fine. Morphing a show is fine. Morphing a show is fine. Oh, good. Okay. I just got that. Um, yeah, this is me. Same guy, mellow guy, usually, unless I get frustrated talking about some subject like coronavirus or the COVID virus. Changing the chat, yeah, uh, and I can do this. I get a little sidetracked. I'm getting a little absent-minded in my age. So yeah, 63 in another month. So I mean, I'm getting up there. And I notice it. I do notice one thing. It changes subject for a second, and that is I did keto for 2 months, a little more than 2 months. I wanted to drop some weight, and I did. I dropped about 24 pounds in two to 3 months. I did really well on it. I was never so sharp in my life as far as just being snappy, coming up with answers and things like that. Um, got away from it. It's a toughie. It's a toughie. There's enough carbs to satisfy your carb needs and stuff like that. But I honestly, it got old on me, and I started to. And keto, you can't. The big thing about keto is you have to stick with it. Even a day or two, you're out of keto. You eat the wrong meal a couple of days, and you're out of there. But you got to have 75% fat, uh, 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% of carbs. That's tough. Um, you go through, carbs can go really quick. An ear of corn or two, and your carbs are done, and now you're out of keto. Your body doesn't doesn't process the fat out of your system, and so it's a tough thing to do. A lot of people have been extremely successful. I guess that I'm just not regimented enough to really stick to that. So I don't weigh any less, maybe 15 pounds tops, than I did when I retired 6 months ago. And I really expected that I could, now I got all kind of time. I can walk, I can exercise, things like that. I really haven't put a lot of effort in it. But now I'm doing the backyard thing. I'm starting there. I got, we have, our house has concrete from about, I don't know, 7 or 8 feet up, and then it's aluminum siding. I'm sorry, vinyl siding from there up. So, but my one side, the western side of my house, is the paint's peeling really bad. So that's my next project is to start that. And a new porch. I'm going to do our front steps. It's just steps. I'm going to turn that into and I'm not going to do it. I just can't do that work anymore. But I've got it planned out where it's going to be a porch with sitting room for two of us. And it's going to be a wood thing. I don't want it to go concrete. Our steps are poured concrete. You know, it's a mold is put there, and they pour it solid. Um, so you're glad to be retired. I love retirement. Yeah, I do. I think retirement is it's well earned. You know, so I had 40. Let's see, 32 plus seven. So let's call it 40. 40 years of work. That's enough. And I worked. Before that, I worked with my father, who was a mason. Speaking about concrete, very good mason. He was a savant when it came to figuring out material. And if you wanted, patio and a driveway, and you wanted steps, and you wanted paving stones and stuff like that, he would just go there and look at it, take some real rough measurements, and he would get the material practically down to the block or the brick or whatever that he needed. He was really brilliant at that stuff. And this is a guy who had a fifth grade education. That's the amazing part. My dad was born during the Depression, and the big thing about that is that uh, you know uh, race. He lived in a black white area, and everybody was starving. Nobody could find food. Nobody could afford food. Depression, babe, it was bad here. Um, and he used to follow the cart, the vegetable and fruit cart vendors, who, when all their stuff got bad, they would just take it to the dump and dump it on the ground. They wouldn't let the kids come over and grab stuff. I don't know what this issue was, but they would, just dump it at the dump, and the kids would go there, and uh, they would they didn't fight over the food. They just, if you grabbed it, it's yours. And my dad would grab old, going rotting potatoes and whatever else that he could get, bring home. Remember, he was the 13th child, and two of them were off to war. So I mean, there's a lot of spread with 13 kids. You got a lot of spread. So he learned early on that people are people. People are trying to survive. They're doing what they can, and we have good and bad people in everything. We know that. But he brought me up with the mindset that you're no better or no worse than anybody else, and respect other people until they disrespect you, and then tear them to pieces verbally. I don't fight anybody. To go on to another subject, I'll never get back to how I became a boiler man. Steam engineer. Steam engineer. Good title. Um, that's literally my license title, which I'm not going to keep. I'm going to let it expire. I don't see spending $80 every 3 years just to have a card that said that I'm active as a boiler operator. I'm not. I'm not a steam engineer anymore. I got my card in my wallet that's still good, and I'll probably still carry it with me. I don't know. It's just one of those things you get used to doing, and it kind of reflects when I come across it. When I open up the wallet, and boom, there it is. It's nice. It's nice to say, man, I had a nice career at that. Um, but my dad, one day, it was a funny story, kind of ironic, I guess, maybe more than funny. But he was around 8 to 10 years old, maybe, and he heard a knock on the door. So he went to the door, opened it up, and this man, soldier, said, is mom home? He says, who's mom? He says, you must be Johnny. He never saw my dad. Never saw my dad. He was just in the military for years, and the war broke out, and all that stuff. And so my dad was born in 31, 45, so he must have been a little bit older. But he never saw his brother. Yeah, I guess he probably lived somewhere else at that time when my dad was growing up. And that's when he met his oldest brother. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. Then my dad in 1950, so the Korean conflict, Korean War. I'm sorry, it was a war. He joined the army. Uh, Luckily, he went to Germany and not Korea. Of course, Germany in 1950 wasn't very happy with Americans for obvious reasons, but he lived off base with my mom. They got married. My dad was 21. My mom was 16. Wow. I mean, how often does that happen anymore? Times are different. Man, we're talking the 50s, early, but they were married probably 2 years at that point or something like that. Math is fuzzy. That's why I say I've got a cousin who's here really close to me. She lives down south somewhere, and she's up this way, and haven't seen her in decades. So I'd like to get together. Her older sister was my mom's best friend, as far as I understand. So then they were in-laws, but they were best friends. She passed away, and I missed the opportunity to really learn about my mom because my mom was very private. Her dad was a dirtbag, as far as I know. She had all these sisters that they. I don't want to get into the sisters, but a few of them were really nice, and the other ones were just garbage, real garbage, thieves. And my mom always told me about a story where her and my grandmom would be out, driving around at 1 o'clock in the morning looking for their 17, 18-year-old sister, my mom's sisters, because they're off, screwing around, whatever they're doing. And my mom at the time was probably, I would think, no more than, 7 or 8, 9, 10, something like that. But grandmom would put my mom in a car with her, and they'd go looking for the sleazy, sisters. So, this, 13 children on the dad's side and the mom's side total. You got a lot of variables and a 20 some year gap between the kids. But I had an aunt that totally ripped off thousands and thousands of dollars that was meant to be split 3 ways from a will. And uh, as my mom would say, thank God the bitch is dead. Um, Finally, my mom had hoped that she could, you know, pee on her grave or something. It might be not my mom's style, but that's what she thought of that woman. And yeah, families. I don't. I've never had. I had a younger brother. He died at 21. He had severely handicapped. Couldn't walk, talk, or feed himself. I was his legs, his arms, and his mouth. Um, and I was 24. He was 21. I wish God would have called him home years earlier because of the suffering and the pain that he had. But I really, and I'm not getting religious on anybody, but when my brother was near death, yeah, it's tearjerker stuff. When my brother was near death, uh, I went for a long walk in the woods, and I'm just begging Jesus. I'm just saying, bring him home. Extremely ill, and we're 2 weeks in a hospital. He was always there. Uh, and the sad part, and a story I've never told before, and it's a sad one. My mom, again, sick, real sick, finally got her out of the hospital. She spent days there in a room with my brother, and she finally couldn't do it anymore. She went home to get some sleep, and my brother died. I was holding his hand. I could see his pulse in his arm slowing down, and then stop. I called the nurses in, and they put a amplified stethoscope to his chest, and she said that my brother's gone. So my dad and I went home, and I had to wake my mom up and tell her that her son, her baby, the one that she fed, changed for 21 years, had died the night that. Hi, Linda. Good to see you, Linda. Thanks for coming in. That the son that needed her every minute of the day had died the one night there that she had gone home. And the saddest part about this, and this was 10 years or more later, my mom she asked if we had my brother euthanized, put to sleep because he wasn't going to come back, and that didn't happen. And it was such a tear filled moment to think that all those years that we had done that, pulled the life support from my brother. She had that in her head all those years. We waited for her to go home, and then we did the dirty deed, and that wasn't the truth. I explained it to her, and again, a decade later, you imagine having that in your mind and never saying it. And she had a degree of obviously a degree of relief that he passed natural instead of pulling the plug on the kid. And he never weighed over 75 pounds. Here's a 21-year-old man that weighs 75 pounds. Literally, he looked like an Auschwitz, survivor. It was just sad. He was so. I've never in my life seen anybody that was more handicapped than my brother, and I think anybody who knew him, and he was smart as could be, but cerebral palsy is tough. Uh, you know, there's so many degrees of severity, but he was a 10 out of a 10. He couldn't hold anything. He had 24-hour a day. I mean, except when he slept, he just had uncontrollable muscle spasms, unable to talk, and you know, again, I cared for him from. Lucky I was the older brother, and that's the that was a biggie. It gave me a hands up on the ability to do what I could do for him. And I know it got dark real quick. Sorry about that. I'll uh, I'll aim you over toward the lights here for a second. And so skunks are very docile creatures. And Stinky here, he's he's in the yard and he comes out, and anything that the birds drop out of the feeders, and I've got five feeders behind me here. Um, they'll come out and sit there and chew what they can. I put squirrel baffles up so the squirrels can't get to the feeder. So I'm saving $10,000 a week on bird food. That's what it seems like anyway. Um, but that was the sadder parts. Some very sad times. Uh, and I miss my brother dearly. I think about him uh, a lot, and I try to remember the good things, but there were so few. There were so few good things in 21 years of his life, and people don't get the backstory of other people. John Cooks was, you know, always a happy-go-lucky guy, entertained as best as he could, whatever I was doing. Uh, and, was, I mean, that's me. I'm a pretty mellow guy. Um, Now I have a switch. When that gets flipped, I'm not very happy, and I'll start throwing things and getting mad like anybody else would. I'm surely not close to perfect. God knows that's true. But came the time that I had a girlfriend, and I learned to hate her very quickly. Very quickly. I found out she was, doing coke and all other kind of things. Sarah says, right, we don't know what others have gone through or are going through. It's so true. You put yourself out here, and this is all people have to go by. So the John Clayton now, the me, wants to, wants to be more sort of, I don't want to say real because I wasn't, I was, it wasn't an acting thing with John Cooks, but John Cooks is gone. So, now I can be more me, and all of us. I mean, if you're a broadcaster on any of these services, it's just a matter of how much you're willing to share with others. And some people, they don't care; they'll tell you anything. I threw a lot of stuff out there already tonight, but there's the stuff that you keep to yourself, and whether good or bad, it's things that people don't need to know. Wasabi, the Pekingese won Best Show. Don't care about the dog, Westminster Dog Show. Oh, excuse me, I just had a notification come up there. Why at 11:19 at night are they choosing who won the dog show? uh, don't they do that in the daytime? Wow. So let me hop back and get rid of some of the sadder things. So um, when I worked for the county and I cut those tires and made artificial reefs that were thrown out to the ocean for fish to live around, which was tremendous hit. It was a twofer. You got rid of all the tires and you made fish. How good is that, right? Um, it come to whenever it snowed, anybody who had a driver's license back then in the county was a driver because most of the guys were laborers because they lost their driver's license. And so, you got a driver's license. Oh, you're going to drive a tandem, you know, 50-foot long truck filled with 1 billion pounds of salt and sand. On I never did that before, but I was a driver, and it was kind of cool. You had three guys in the truck, and you'd have the driver. The guy next to him would make sure the driver stayed awake because he just got done sleeping. You'd be out there 40 hours. I mean, you were pulling long, long, long days. We were getting 3, 4 foot of snow sometimes because New Jersey has its snow moments. Back then, we haven't had a lot of snow. Blame it on global warming or like the climate change because if it gets cold, they throw the global warming out the window. Uh, yeah, you can probably tell I'm pretty conservative. Uh, so so here I am, driving a truck, 16-foot blade on the front, let's say 1 billion pounds of salt and sand. Thank God for air brakes. That's all I know. Without them, those trucks would never stop. So I would drive the guy next to me in the center. He made sure I stayed awake. And the third guy would be up against the passenger door, sleeping away. And then we would just rotate out like that. And we could go out. All we had to do is come back and get the salt, sand, and gasoline or diesel. That's how that works, and it still works like that today. And if you ever want to, if you guys crap on your windows, in particular snow and ice and stuff like that, newspaper. Just make sure you keep some newspaper around that will clean your windows off like nobody's business, leave nothing behind. And that's back when I'm starting to get a few bugs here. That's back when the ink they used was pretty smudgy. I mean, you could remember you could take Play-Doh and or silly putty and push down on the comic strips and pull it up, and it was there because there was a lot of ink in the paper. Now they use soy, and it's like 5% of what it used to be. And it doesn't work anymore, I guess. So kids are missing out on something. So I moved. I did the snowplow thing. Quick story about the snowplow, I guess, is that I was. I think it's Cyrus was his name. It's a long time ago. This is 40 years ago now. 35 years ago. We were driving along, and I was plowing. Here driving and plowing, and I hit a raised manhole cover. Well, that truck all but stopped, and I had my seatbelt on. He didn't. He hit the dashboard pretty hard. He didn't get hurt, but he sure could have. And I had to stay there until they come and they fix the thing. Yeah, it's you go from 30 miles an hour, maybe not that fast, to zero pretty quick when you hit a raised manhole cover, no matter how big that truck is. So I had to stay there and block it so nobody would fall down, and bust a axle or something like that with their cars. Um, so I did all this snow plowing thing, but then spring come and summer come, and I got and I'm out there now. You're not plowing snow anymore. There's no reason to drive trucks. The tire reef project's behind me. I moved garages, and um, literally, I'm plowing. I'm mowing grass with a hand mower. Between a median on a pretty busy highway, really hilly, really hilly. You either push the mower uphill or you drag it uphill and mow downhill. That's kind of the choice you had. And a boss, Dick Osborne, never forget the guy, new boss, brand new boss. He rode up to where I was, and he said to me, he says, Clayton, come here. So weird to use my own name. I haven't done it. But he says, come here. He says, he says, you're too smart to be cutting grass. We got people that can cut grass all day long. You don't need to be doing that. How'd you like to be a boiler man? And I had no clue. I kind of had an idea what it was, but I mean, I never did anything with boilers. And I'm saying that I said to him, "Is it indoors?" That was my only question. Oh my God! Somebody screamed. I just heard it. So I said, "Is it indoors?" He said, "Yes." I said, That's my job. I want it." He says, "Good. We got a half an hour. We got to get down to the administration building and fill out the paperwork because it starts tomorrow. The job starts tomorrow." And the cool thing was a $3 an hour raise and a whole new profession, low pressure boiler. It was a jail facility, 500 inmates. It was courthouses, four buildings, but it was courthouses inside the jail facility. Beautiful, brand new building. $26 million the building cost at the time, which is sizable. And the boiler room was brand new, all brand new equipment. And I learned how to be a boiler man there. And that was um, later on. Yeah, later on, I had to the training thing. The good thing about a lot of jobs, and this is the federal government as well as the county government and maybe municipalities. I'm not sure. They they have a 6 month grace period typically for you to learn a job because if they need to fill a spot and nobody's applying for it, they'll take anybody. So I got in there and learned how pumps work and how boilers operate and what a boiler man is and things like that. And I ended up doing that job, like I say, for 7 years plus on steady midnights. Um, yeah, and that's so sensible to do that. Uh, and they also and the federal government used to have just a 6 month grace period if you did not learn the job or you I should say when I left the county. And I'll add that too. I guess I'll add that too. My battery's draining really quick. This thing definitely sucks the battery down. But when I left the county voluntarily, something you know, Ocean County government employees don't voluntarily leave their job. The benefits and stuff are too good. So I got called in by the administrator of buildings and grounds, and he says, "John, why? I got to ask you, I've never had anybody leave before voluntarily." He says, "Why?" And I told him, I said, I want to improve myself. I'm going to go where I have high pressure boilers, and the cutoff point is 15-pound pressure. Uh, Everything up to 15 pounds is a low pressure boiler. Everything above that is a high pressure boiler. And 5 pounds will mess you up, let alone 600 pounds. And I've operated upwards around 900 or so pound pressure when we did during the jet launches and stuff like that. But so I moved from the county over to the federal government and spent my last 32 years in the workforce doing that. And incredible, incredible memories. Some, it was the late '80s. Um, a lot of guys were, you know, just prior to that, they used to do crank, and that's meth. We call it meth today. Back then, crank don't sound so bad. Yeah, he's doing some coke and doing some crank, but they were snorting meth. They weren't shooting anything up. But rules right before I got there, things started to change. I saw some guys that were still stoners and stuff like that. But the matter of fact, the boss, who was a operator and he was even a worker in that first plant, the centralized steam plant. He walked down a set of stairs going to down into the basement for something, and here's two guys snorting something off a deck plate on the stairs. He's just shaking his head and going by. There's a thing. It's grandfather past practice laws. Um, if and he was as straight and narrow as could be. This boss, brilliant, probably the smartest guy all around in every profession, whether it was sewage or water systems or electrical. He could do it all. And he was a incredible multitasker. But he would go like this, put the blinders on, and go about things. Uh, but it all ended right about the time that I got there, which was cool. Because I'm one of them people that have a bit of an addictive personality. I think I do. I have an addictive personality. Um, all of a sudden, I'm addicted into making my yard look pretty. It's it's you just trade one habit for another. A lot of people, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but I worked with a guy, Jim, and he was a little bit younger than me, and he was bad. He was into every imaginable drug and things like that, and he found God. God bless him. He found God, but I realized along the whole process, he traded one addiction to another. You know, Definite improvement. It's probably as huge as you could get improvement. Didn't last forever, but he put I mean, he was a gun-toting coke user, and he woke up. I guess he was driving on our parkway, and he woke up down in a ditch where people couldn't see his car. He don't even know how long he was down there. And at that point, he realized that he could have been dead and not even known it. It's like the thing I want to wake up dead in the morning. It beats the alternative, I guess. So he found religion, and it worked for him for a lot of years. But um, he was, I worked with him in the county, and then when I left the county, he had already gotten a job at the federal facility, so I got to work with him again, and he wasn't so clean and sober then, and I'll just never remember. I'll never forget. I'm sorry that we had this real sticky metal door, big giant, uh, you know. Door that would open up, but it had a smaller door built in it, all solid steel, real heavy stuff, and the door stuck all the time. So one night he came in and he had 2 cups of coffee, boiling hot coffee, no lids on it, and he's trying to push the door. The coffee's spilling all over his hands. He's coming in, and you could always tell when this guy was drunk or stoned off his brain because, and this is almost any employee I've ever worked with that had drug issues. He would run around before he would relieve me. I had a good night, everything was fine, but he would run around and check every piece of equipment like he's an expert and think that I'm trying to screw him over. And I looked at the operator at the time and said, "You're going to let him relieve me? You're going to let this guy take the watch?" And he says, "What am I going to do?" I said, "Well, you don't want to put him back on the road again. That's for sure. Send him upstairs. I don't care about the overtime. I'll stay there. I'll work it or get somebody else in here. But send him upstairs and let him lay down somewhere and fall asleep and sleep it off." And he said, "No, go home and you know, I'll take it from there." Uh, 3 months later, something like that, he was fired. He stole. He put a 40-foot ladder, expansion ladder. He put that on the top of his little Toyota pickup truck and drove out the gate with it. I mean, that's ballsy. It's really ballsy. It's got the name of the power plant written all over it in stencils. And he took a lot of stuff. And he finally got the Navy was watching him. So he had a big yard sale, and everything he stole he had out in his front yard. And he looked out the door, and here's 2 military policemen coming toward the house. So he runs out the back door, and there's 2 of them waiting for him at the back door. He didn't see that coming. And there's some really sick stuff I'm not going to talk about. Um, it involved incest. I'm sorry, with his sister and drugs. He was caught. Well, I'm saying it. So he was caught in a county park having sex with his sister with drugs all over the dashboard. That's how bad he had gotten. So obviously he lost his job right there. Now I had lent him $50 at one time. I don't know what for. Probably something like that. And long after he lost his job, 5 years after he lost his job, I went to a supermarket, and all of a sudden somebody tapped me on my shoulder. And I turned around. He was a big guy. He's 6'4", muscle. He was like he was big. He was like the Downey man or something. It's just huge. And he said, "I owe you $50, don't I?" And I said, "Yes, you do, Jim." And he pulled out a wallet, and it was stuffed with 50s and hundreds. He said, "Here," he handed it to me. He said, "Have a good life." Now, I don't know where the money's coming from, but when we parked in the parking lot, and this is nighttime, there's 3 or 4 cop cars out there. And I'm thinking, who knows? He might be setting me up with a marked bill. I don't know what it was, but we paid cash for our groceries that night. So I got a bunch of singles and stuff like that back, but I never saw him again. Um, this is, these are real people, and you deal with what you got, and sometimes it's downright scary. He scared me. He definitely scared me. This guy, and I got a low power thing. Hang on, there we go. Low power. So I'm running out of juice. I had 100% on this. My battery. This is a iPhone 10, and the battery's down to 79% chargeability, which is after 3 years. That's pretty accurate. But the problem is, you can only charge it to 79%. It says 100, but it's not. But it drains like it's 79%. So you've already lost 27% of charge on it. But that might be enough for one night because I hate these. I hate these battery warning things. Sarah, thank you. Let me just go down here. I haven't heard from Linda for a while, and there was someone else in there. Forgive me. I'm just scrolling back. I do like the text feature on Haps. Haps has a lot of positive things. Tiffany, thank you, Tiffany. Um, I like the app. Say the quality of the picture is good. I'm going to play it back, and it should look pretty good. I'm not that far from the Wi-Fi. Audio should sound halfway decent. The whines wore off, but I'm still chatty. I started to sound like my dad when he got older. He got really raspy, and that's me. I'm never. I had a much deeper voice, um, but over the years it's gotten raspy. As you can see, the mustache, I shaved it up really good tonight. This light is making my chin look like Jay Leno. There we go. I'm holding the lamp up now, though. I don't know if that's really what I want to do. But really, really good coming out here. First show as me. I think that, and that's going to be it. There's no more John Cooks. I killed off John Cooks. Um, I don't know if that means somewhere in the future John Clayton may cook a dinner, but I sort of lost that. I did. This is what I want to do. I want to just chat away. Um, the problem was that Periscope was great. I look up there and have 600, 700, 1,000 people to watch the show, and I'm not getting any messages of anybody that is subscribing. We had one subscriber, two subscribers today, and used to be I really cared about the numbers. Call it vanity, but I would come out and try to make the show as entertaining, which I always do anyway. But I would make the show extra entertaining and be silly and have fun, stuff like that. And the numbers build up. There was, let's say, 3,500, 3,900, almost. It was almost 4,000 at one time followers of Periscope, which I miss Periscope. I do. Uh, I wrote on my Facebook page today that I went through 12 weeks every day, 12 weeks of training of total quality management, TQL, it was called TQM, and then it was total quality leadership. And the whole thing, it was sponsored. The base I had just started there. The captain said he had landed on aircraft carrier decks with, I believe, an F-16 for over a thousand times. The toughest thing he ever did was bring total quality management to our base, but he said we needed it. We were going through a base realignment enclosure called a BRAC. It's where the Senate takes in decides whether or not to can your base, and he just felt that because it was a lot of charting, a lot of graphing, stuff like that. That was data collection, and he really thought that that would give us the upper hand, and it did. The engineers and all the people that do that stuff, they were able to collect enough data then they came out to our power plant, which was the jet launch power plant, which is made for it's an aircraft carrier facility. The whole base is based on aircraft facility. The cable that catches the jet we make there. The wall that comes up that diverts the blast coming out of the jet, so the one behind can get ready. We make there, and it's still it's a very important part of all the carriers that are still in the fleet. So the BRAC commissioner, she came out there. She got the total tour of everything, saw all the stats, and said, "We're going to save this base," and they did. And today, it's three bases in one. It's an Army base, an Air Force base, and a Navy base, and it's the only three contingent military facility in the world. So they're able to do everything. They're all connected. They're border to border. So now it's probably locked in forever. I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere. But TQM saved the base. But the main point of it was, and this is what I was trying to get at, is that the people don't mind change. We like to change. All of a sudden, I'm putting bird feeders up and stuff like that. Maybe out of boredom because I'm home alone all day. You know, I stay up to 3. I get up at 10. My wife comes home at 5. We have dinner. We watch TV for 3 hours or so. She goes to bed, and I'm alone again. Uh, I don't know when she's going to retire. Sooner the better. Really, she got almost 36 years on her job. I mean, what's she waiting for? The only problem is she's young. She's 58. It's 4 years away from minimum Social Security age, and we honestly don't need the money. We have my income, just my retirement, my pension, my hey, I'm back. Okay, hey, Mr. Scott. Um, you missed a lot of stuff. This is quite a few stories to cover. So if I don't know how much you missed, but if you want to play it back, just pretty good stuff there. So so she wants to wait it out. I never expected to be home for it might be 4 years by myself every day. So I'm finding stuff to do and stuff that's bettering our home, and which is great. I mean, I want to do that. Can't hurt. I'm not the most handy guy in the world, but I mean, I can do basic stuff. I know know a little bit of everything. I've worked with everything over the years. Being a boilerman doesn't mean you're just operating boilers and you know putting pipes together and stuff like that. Excuse me, you do a lot of stuff. So I'm hoping within a year or two that she'll buy some Bitcoin if you have a few extra bucks. I'm staying away from imaginary money. That's just me. Uh, I understand you can jump in and jump out really quick, which is cool. I mean, Dogecoin, they those who hopped in there at the right time made a fortune. Absolutely made a fortune. But we did really good investing uh, over the years. So we've got good savings. I've got a good pension plan, a boatload of money in the retirement fund, a 401k, pension, and Social Security. I don't need my wife working. She's not a healthy lady. Learn how to make your own Bitcoin. Oh my God, no. Otherwise, you're going to be paying some nerd to hold your money. Exactly. My battery is dying. I'll just bring up one other point. Um, Today, well, officially today, because it's still it's still Sunday. Uh, I went online and come up with there's a New Jersey and a bunch of other states have lottery system online. It's a company, but they work with the state commission and stuff like that. And online, you buy lottery tickets, and they're all the pick 3, 4, 5, Powerball, Mega Millions, all that. It's for real. Over 470,000 people have downloaded their apps, and it gets about a 95% rating. So it's as legit as could be. So anyway, I put $50 in there. big big spender here, and I bought two lottery tickets, a Powerball, and I bought $2 and a $2 Mega Millions just to try it. And what they do is they literally buy the tickets from wherever they get the tickets from. Somebody's got a machine and they print them out into real tickets. The name of the game is Who Controls the Imaginary Money? See, I'm not going to argue with you, imaginary money, but you do. What Americans' fiat currency is. I consider just as money is imaginary. Absolutely, money's only worth what we imagine it to be. You know, I mean, house prices here. Get ready for a big crash again. 2008, the housing market took a crap. You know, people lost 30% value on their home or more. We bought this home in 2008, and immediately, 6 months, we lost $60,000. It's now worth more than what we paid because houses are inflated again, very expensive. Because you can't buy, I'm sorry, you can't build a new home because of the price of lumber. When a 2x4 costs you $12, a 2x12, I saw a 2x12, 8 foot, $46. How do you build anything? You build a small deck, it costs you 5 grand, just a material. That's my 10% battery thing, so it's getting close. Gold's a good investment too. Gold is a good investment now. Even though it's up, gold is up. Gold up, money down. Dollar down. Dollar sucks. Dollar's based on debt. Used to be, of course, we had certificate deposits and stuff like that, gold certificates, then silver. Now it's based on debt. So if you take and make a dollar bill, it creates a dollar's worth of debt to the economy. That's not a way to run the government or run money. My house is probably worth more than half a mil now. See that, and that's if you can sell. I mean, if you have interest to sell. Usually, you got a $500,000 house, you're not going to sell unless you bought it at 100 grand and a lot of years ago, and you 5 times your money. And now you're going on a market that's going to buy a house of pretty much equal value. That's the thing there. House prices are here crazy. My house probably worth okay. I paid off a loan a while ago. It was worth like 100 grand. Say, yeah, and now you got all that equity in the home. Now see, I got the option. I'm that age now. You never know. Age catches up with you so quick. And that whole thing as you get older, time flies faster. Oh, it does. It really does. You know, when you're younger, days are like days. When you get a bit older, days are like weeks go by like days. You hit a certain age, a month goes by like a day. Day goes by like a month. No, it's a month goes by like a day. It just goes fast. I've been out of work 6 months. It don't feel like it. And it was from the mid '80s. Yeah, see, a great investment. Great investment. And of course, dollar is worth more, but the perspective houses are always the one thing that there's no rhyme or reason. It's just it's location and it's what the dollar's valued at. But again, a dollar's an imaginary thing. We just say, okay, we all agree that it's worth a dollar, and that's what gives it value. Gold is the same. Um, Everything is the same. It's only worth something because we agree that it's worth something. Um, so the time travel stuff is real. That time travel stuff is real. Tell you, this is the stuff, and my battery's going to die. I don't just want to shut the show down. I got to get out of here. But the John Clayton shows are going to be conspiracy theory going to be UFOs. It's going to be aliens. It's going to be time travel. That's the stuff I want to talk about. Stuff that I really enjoy. I'm always been a conspiracy guy, and and gold is real. It's tangible. Yeah, debt is not tangible. Gold is real. Value of gold changes. Now $1,800 an ounce or something on the order of that. And supposedly gold, all the gold ever netted in the world is the size of a football field, 4 inches thick. It's hard to believe because you see so much gold, but you know yourself, you pound it out, to nothing, and it's still beautiful. I mean, everything that's gold plated or whatever is just beautiful. And you got a huge statue or something, and it's got a 1/4 ounce of gold on it. It's amazing. Time travel stuff, yeah. There's so many paradoxical theories and stuff like that. Um, can you only go forward and not go back? Can you do both? Uh, is the future already there and they've already come back? I think that's a really big one. Um, Einstein even said, it's a bend in a river. Where you are is present. You can't see around the bend because it's the future, and you can't see the past, although you know of the past because that's behind you too, around the bend. Scott Kelly orbited the Earth 17,000 miles an hour is the standard speed. It's the speed at which that's what the space station flies at up there. It's at 281 miles right now. Can't see it for another 2 weeks here, sadly. But and that's the thing. I love to come out in the yard here, look up in the sky, and watch the space station go over, and spot the station. Great app, really great app. And there's a couple other ones there that I use that are that fill all that out. But that's the speed at which an object falls to the earth because of gravity, but the earth has moved so it misses it. So it's always trying to hit a moving target. And at that speed, you keep orbital velocity. It's so cool. Hey, Todd, good to see you. Thanks for the comments today and stuff on Facebook. My battery's down to about 4%, so I have to get out of here. But you walk up and shake the man's hand. Oh, hope I missed something here. Quarter man's future. About 1 second. Okay. But you can walk up and shake the man's hand. That one I'm missing. Maybe I gotta go back further. This is gonna kill me. Oh, talking about Scott Kelly. Okay. So, yeah, I love space stuff. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm a horror guy. Love horror movies. That's my mom got me into that when I was young because she says I don't want you to be afraid of anything. She used to drag me out on the porch and make me sit there in the worst lightning storms you ever saw in your life because she says she grew up scared to death of lightning and thunder. She didn't want that to happen to me, and I could sit out in the storm anytime and watch it. Um, yeah, Mr. Scott, thank you for coming in. Everybody, definitely everybody. Todd, we'll talk soon, I'm sure. I'm going to die here with the battery. It's dying quick on me. And this light that I have here, I forgot to bring my cable out. That thing will run this phone for 5 days. It's a massive power bank. I think you can kind of see it there. That's used for the telescope, and that's what I should have really brought out was the cable. I could be out here another hour easily, but I'm on 2 hours and 9 minutes. That's typical, you know, John Cook show. Now it's John Clayton, and there's no more John Cooks. Killed him off. It was time, and everything's changed. All my social media stuff. I'll probably still find stuff. Um, okay, been hearing. Good night, Todd Dance. And good night, Mr. Scott. Todd Dance. Wow, 5 days. Yeah, it will. This is it's a new battery technology. It's a different type of lithium. It's very lightweight, very lightweight, but the capacity is totally incredible. Okay, I'm losing. I can tell I'm losing it. I'm going to go ahead and end here. I will say merhaba. Most people know me for that. I'm not going to change that. But good night, guys. Thank you. Todd, watch the show back. There's a lot of stuff I'm sure you've heard before, but it's encapsulated into a short 2 hours and 10 minutes. Good night, and thank you all for coming in. It's been a pleasure to come in here as me for a change, and we'll have a lot of good space and conspiracy stuff